My life improved after cheating wife left. Story 1. My story actually goes back a few years, but the current situation with the pandemic has sort of brought it back to life in a way. I turned 39 last December. My GF birthday is 1 week before mine and my daughter's falls in between, so we tend to have a birthday week celebration. We had been together for nearly 7 years at the time, married for almost 5. I thought we were very happy. The speed with which everything changed shocked me. All of this started back when I was 32 and my daughter was 4. My ex-wife was 31. My ex-wife joined a new gym because of a promotion they were having. It was a very expensive high-end place. It was after that when the trouble started. The details of the cheating aren't that interested, so I'm not going to spend much time describing it. For about 6 months my ex-wife became distant, picking fights a lot, going out on girls' nights, etc. After about 6 months of all this I went away on a business trip, and when I came home, my ex-wife and moved out. Maybe 2/3 of all her stuff and most of my daughter's stuff was gone. On the kitchen their divorce papers. No note, nothing. She was offering 50-50 custody and didn't want any money or the house. Now it might be important to know that at this time I was already earning 6 figures plus bonuses and commissions. Due to some very wise investments and careful planning, I expect to be a millionaire by my 40th birthday or soon after. But I guess she wasn't willing to wait. She is a stunning and beautiful woman, so it's not too surprising she was able to meet the guy she did. Especially in revealing gym clothes. I didn't know this when I found the divorce papers, but the man she left me for was already a millionaire. He was also 45. But I didn't know about the other man at the time. All I knew was my wife and left with our child and left behind divorce papers. She wasn't answering my call or anything. Her parents and siblings didn't know where she was. Eventually I talked to her, but she didn't tell me about the other guy. She just said that she wasn't happy and she wants to move on. After a couple weeks, what convinced me to sign the papers was when I received an invitation to her second wedding. I signed the papers and she was remarried 3 months after leaving me. I'm giving kind of an abridged version because the details of all this aren't so unique. Once I was divorced, I got to see my daughter again, and basically she spent half her time with me and half her time with her mother. I focused on being a better and more present father. I redoubled my efforts to work out and established a thorough exercise regimen. I took some courses about investing and trading and made a fortune. I even discovered a new hobby, woodworking. I would find used furniture usually that had been thrown out and I would refinish it. Eventually I started dating again, but it was nothing too serious. I was more concerned with having another woman around my daughter. She never really warmed up to wife's second husband. My daughter often said that he tolerated her, but that was it. She didn't use those exact words, but that's what she described. Eventually I met my current girlfriend. We've been together about 3 years now, living together for 2. My girlfriend is from Thailand and is 10 years younger than me. She studied therapy and worked in a spa. Her and my daughter get along great and my ex-wife is very jealous. My GF and daughter enjoy spending time together in a way I don't think my ex-wife has experienced. For example, GF and daughter both have long hair and enjoy watching videos online on how to make very elaborate braids and hairstyles. My daughter enjoys this more than the expensive toys my ex-wife is always buying. Time for the plot twist. 2020 and the pandemic were not kind to my ex-wife's new husband. He worked as a business consultant and lost about 75% of his clients when the companies wanted to save money. They might hire him again in the future, but now it's tough. He still has plenty of money, but he was essentially living paycheck to paycheck. Furthermore, it turns out he was also heavily in debt. I don't know all the details, but I've heard he has hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt as well as outstanding loans. He had to sell his house and they moved into a condominium. He had sell off a lot of his assets to cover most of the costs. He is still comfortable, but their lifestyle took a drastic downgrade. The upside for me, my GF, and daughter, is that my daughter has been living with us full time for nearly a year. I happily volunteered to take her while they were dealing with their financial situation. The three of yous have already visited my GFS family in Thailand, and after the pandemic situation is over we are going to go back and have a wedding in Thailand. We are tentatively planning on relocating to Thailand. My daughter visited Thailand with us and we haven't fully talked about it, but she is excited about living in Thailand with us. She has even started taking Thai language lessons online. I don't know how this will work exactly, and it's not like it will happen tomorrow, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's my story. I hope it can help as a source of encouragement and motivation for people going through something similar. Remember that things can get better even after a bad situation. Story 2. Wife cheated, a lot even with family. It changed me. For real. Backstory: my wife 27F and I 28 meters have been together since high school. She had a history of being hoey before we met. I took my chances and fell head over heels for her. I dropped everyone and everything for her. Looking back, it was 100% toxic. She got pregnant with our daughter, who is my world. Welcoming my beautiful human into this world gave me life. At age 20, I found out when my daughter was a year old that my wife cheated on me 9 months before she was pregnant with my twin brother. I remember nutting in her and saying, I hope you got pregnant off of that one 9 months before she was born too. It's a mystery that I am fine not finding out if I am the father, not even sure if it is possible being as we are twins. The wife and I never have talked about it. His wife and I worked together and we left early one day. I acted like him to sign their marriage venue because we are identical and he couldn't leave work. His wife came on to me that day and I told him. He took my phone and said, I want to see if my wife would do that to me. I think he felt guilty and that's what sparked him to tell me about him and my wife. I was in shock and heartbroken. I told my wife to go to her parents. She did. I knew I needed to teach her a lesson even though I wanted to put it behind me and act like it never happened. I heard rumors while living at her mom's she started messing around with a dude at work. I woke up throwing up on myself. I drove up there to beat his ass and her car was outside but she wasn't there. She threw her time cards on the floorboard of her car, and when she picked up our daughter I would sneak them so I could build a case against her because I felt like she was acting like she was at work and never with our daughter. I wanted her to stop talking to that guy so bad that I told her I would forget about everything else. Her dad told me to be her Prince Charming and stay persistent or my daughter will be calling someone else dad. She is just trying to find herself. This is what happens when you are young and want to play house, etc. I cried and cried to make it stop. It didn't. It stopped when I stopped. I stopped trying to make it work and she freaked out. We ended up moving to Utah to start fresh. I took a promotion for work and we moved to Utah. I was optimistic and she became miserable. I would come home on my lunch every day and cater to my family to build excitement about the new life. She stayed miserable and said she wanted to move back home. She moved home a few weeks earlier than I did. She stayed with my family. While I finished out work in Utah and packed our house. My mom went to my aunt's house where my wife was for the day and she had a glass door with shapes that you could barely see through. Through a little piece of glass seen my younger brother and wife laying on the couch. When she rang the doorbell she seen them jump up and younger brother fixing his belt. She called my wife a WR and called her mom to come get her. I had no idea this happened because my mom knew this was the second brother she did this with. While this was happening, I knew nothing and told my wife I think we need a break. She knew I didn't know. I ended up having time with my boss's daughter. I know that was shitty of me and I tried to tell my wife but she shut me down. I learned later why. I went to my aunt's house and my mom spent the night with me there. My wife was blowing up my phone at 2 a.m. She was drunk and just left the bar. She was freaking out and crying. My mom woke up and said, WTF does she want? I was shocked my mom said that. Then my mom said I'll take her home. Shocked again. I said no, he'll do it. My mom screamed and said I seen her ducking Derek, my other brother. Who's next on her list? My husband, which is my dad? My mother yelled. I took her to her mom's. I asked, did you duck my brother? She said no. She got out of the car and said she was going to kill herself because of the rumor. She was going to kill herself because we were not together. She was drunk and laid on the ground screaming she wanted to die. I took her to her mom's where my daughter was because it was her night and laid in the bed with her till she fell asleep to make sure she didn't do anything stupid. I waited for her to fall asleep and I cried. A few years later, I get an FB video chat request from her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend. She told me my wife was a W or that she broke up their family when she went back to her hometown to visit her other family. I gave her my car and she sent my mail of my wife calling her BF saying her tire was flat. My tire pressure light stayed on and I knew this was true. She then forwarded me pics of my wife naked. I received the same pics from my wife. I asked my wife if they had time. She said no. I told her for some reason I am no longer fazed by this kind of acid and she started to cry. She cheated on this dude with his best friend. Since then my wife is now great. She is an amazing mom. She went to counseling. I hate that she accuses me of cheating constantly. She makes the bed every morning. That is what amazing people do. I don't go through her phone. I don't accuse her of being unfaithful. I asked each time I found something out, did you cheat? She would say no. I didn't investigate further because I didn't want to know. I remember praying, Lord, let me be lied to. I didn't want to deal because I didn't want to react. For if I react, I knew other lives were going to be affected, my children, my parents, my siblings, and even my wife. I protected them even though I didn't cause this. Here is the problem, it's been 4 years. I still bottle it up because I never handled it. I know I should have left. I think I have thrown it in her face at least 3 times. One time saying you ducking shattered me, seen me broken and I had to put me together because of you lied and this is who I am now. Tough as acid. We tried marriage counseling and I found myself getting defensive for her and having her back. She went to individual counseling and it helped her. Back when it happened and I tried to talk about it, I seen her freak out and thought, oh God, the guilt will cause her to hurt herself, so I quickly shut up and shut down. I am not as affectionate. I am not reassuring. Because of this maybe I never forgave her? Sometimes I think hold her hand. Then I remember don't put your walls down or you will get hurt. Now that all the acid has expired, it's wrong for me to try to sort it out. My advice is don't hold it in. That's not being a hero. That's enabling and will cause you to self-destruct. P.S. Don't want y'all thinking hell this guy must have done something. I am fun, outgoing. I always make people feel comfortable and I can make anyone smile and laugh. I don't have any real haters and I don't hate. I am attractive and fit and great in bed and a great size. All the standard reasons why people cheat do not apply here. Am not overselling because of a deep-rooted insecurity either, lol. Am not as good of a person as I used to be, but I am still a good guy. I know I'm not great to her now because of it. She is insecure. Really insecure. Especially when it comes to our relationship. She has a huge fear of me leaving her. She fears when the children are 18 that I will be out. Thanks for helping with any advice you have. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1. So let me get this right, you know she has cheated on you countless times with family members, not just 1 but 2, but you're still with her? This baffles me. I don't know if I should congratulate you or tell you how stupid you are for being able to stay after all that. I would have ran for the hills. You say she's been good for 4 years now. How do you know she has been faithful since? How did she regain your trust back after all that? I have many questions, but the main is, why did you stay? For the accusing you part, it could be different factors. Either she's still cheating and if you were cheating she wouldn't feel as guilty, or she thinks cause she cheated back then that you are now going to start. Redditor 2, this was quite a read. Although her constantly accusing you of cheating now kind of seems like a red flag. Cheaters are known for redirecting guilt like that.